it's Jemima Mitra here from Soundsphere magazine. Today we have an interview with Chiedu Oraka, and we're going to be discussing a bit about BLM and his hopes for the future. So, hello Chiedu, thank you for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so first of all, how are you coping with everything at the moment?
I mean, it's definitely a lot better. I think when this was all sort of when this all first started happening, obviously with the George Floyd situation, it was tough. Definitely seeing things on social media, and yeah, man, seeing people debating and just everyone sort of putting their 2 pence worth in, and it was pretty traumatic, really, in terms of like bringing back sort of feelings of animosity and sort of stuff like that. So yeah, at first it was definitely tough. I was like going on my socials too much and not really in a happy place, man. I'm not gonna lie, at first, and then I just gradually like came off socials a little bit, and yeah, man, I'm in a good place, man. I can't lie.
Yeah, I'm glad you've taken that step to take a break from social media, because when news like BLM comes into play, it's personal to us, like it's personal to our communities, so it's hard to kind of like tear yourself away from that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was waking up and just going on Facebook and just arguing with people, and you know what I mean? I need to look after my mental health at the end of the day. Like I can't be just doing that every day, man. It's exhausting. So I think like obviously for me to sort of take myself out of that situation, that was the best thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you've done that step. So what are your hopes for the movement then?
I think my hope for the movement I think my hope for the movement is for it to stay consistent. It can't disappear. Like this is not just a trend. I saw like loads of people posting the black squares on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, but like you haven't done anything since that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not a trend. This is people's life. This is over 400 years of oppression. Like for me, it needs to carry on, and we need to keep on banging on the doors and letting people know that this type of oppression isn't happening no more. We're not just laying down. So for me, what I want to see happen is obviously the obvious stuff. So like education in schools, and do you know what I mean? And obviously, I think it does start there. I think we need to be having like these difficult conversations in workplaces. Like for me, I think there needs to be a zero tolerance of any sort of racial abuse or any sort of like covert over any sort of racial discrimination. Needs to be like zero tolerance in workplaces. I'd like to see workplaces sign like a pledge where it's just zero tolerance. Like and I think like there needs to be training in workforces. I think the police need to start holding their hands up, and there needs to be some accountability. But obviously these are all little things. I mean, obviously the system needs to change in terms of boardrooms and positions of power. Like we need to be seeing black people in the positions of power. We need to be seeing black people as executives and stuff like that. But obviously I understand this is going to be a long process, but for now, like I said, like this needs to keep on going. Like it's not just a trend.
Yeah, that's really important. I think a lot of people really are viewing this as a trend, and if we view it as a trend, we're never going to get anywhere. So
no,
consistent effort, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've actually met before. So you judged a poetry slam for the Roundhouse Heat, in which I performed in, and I just thought I'd get your thoughts on poetry. So do you have a favourite poet at the moment?
At the moment, I wouldn't say I've got a favourite poet, but I would say like there's definitely people who, because obviously it's not really my scene in terms of like there's no point me sugarcoating that. Like I'm from like a more, even though music is poetry as well, but I'm from more of a music background. So, but like the people that I do rate is like Joelle Taylor. Like she's insane. Like I've done some work with Joelle in the past. Like I think she's a real trailblazer. A guy called Roger Robinson. absolutely fantastic. I've worked with him in the past. Like me, Roger, and Joel did a thing called the Rallying Cry in London at the Battersea Arts Centre with Apples and Snakes, and that's when I first got like introduced to like the poetry world, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of respect for them two poets. Locally, Nick Conroy, I'm rating. He's a good guy. Definitely speaks a lot of sense. And then like Lauren Ransom as well. So yeah, man, they're the people I'm aware of. Like, yeah, man, they're the ones that I'm rating, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely overlap between like spoken word poetry and rap, I think. So yeah. So with regards to like coronavirus and the pandemic and everything, what are you most looking forward to, like when this is all over?
Probably gigging. Getting out and doing shows again. Like I've really missed that. I've really took that for granted. I just want to just sort of, like do some shows and show people some new music and get their reaction, because there's no better buzz than being on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Corona's obviously messed up a lot of musicians' plans, like festivals and performances this summer. And I'm one of them artists that's sort of been on the back burner because of that. But yeah, man, that is definitely 100% the thing that I'm most looking forward to is just performing and seeing people's reactions.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like as a musician, like that's your passion, isn't it? Like you're gonna want to keep doing that.
Yeah, man, that's it. So hopefully that day can come soon.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think is your like biggest obstacle in the way of achieving your BLM orientated goals?
That's a good question. I think it's just people's perspective. Like for me, there's a lot of people that don't think racism exists. And until they're willing to understand that them saying that is a big, big problem and is a part of the problem, then we're struggling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't just want like brands again just doing the black square or saying we stand with black people, but then a few weeks later or even a few years later, I'm seeing no black people in your workplace. I'm seeing you promoting no black people. I'm seeing no black models or black makeup artists or anything like that. It's all right you saying that, but prove it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is the biggest obstacle, like people's perception of it all. Like this whole like Black Lives Matter and then people coming back and saying, no, all lives matter. It's embarrassing. Like people who say that are idiotic. They're ignorant because they need to realize that we're not saying that their lives don't matter. We just want Black Lives Matter. We just want black lives to matter.
Yeah, it's not a controversial statement, is it?
That's it. Like, do you think we're out here wanting to even have a campaign? We don't want to have a campaign. We don't want to be shouting from the rooftops, Black Lives Matter. We'd rather not. Like, unfortunately, white people need to realize that they should be lucky that they don't have to have a campaign. Like, this ain't just some exclusive club that we're happy to have. We're not happy to have it. Like, at the end of the day, we just want equality. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Something that we're supposed to live in a democratic society. That's what they say. Like, England's democratic and blah blah blah. But is it though, really? When black people are still complaining about being oppressed? Do you know what I'm saying? So we're not complaining, not moaning. Well, it's not even moaning. Like, these are our lives. We're not kicking up a fuss for no reason. Like, why we're not lying. Like, the stats and evidence is there. Like, so when you talk about like the biggest obstacle, it's sort of people not willing to understand, people not willing to learn, people not willing to go and educate themselves. Like, that's the biggest obstacle. And once we can overcome that and our allies, our white allies, realize that if they stand by our side and really kick up a fuss as much as we are, then we'll be laughing.
We'll get stuff done. Yeah.
It wouldn't be an issue. The job's done then. But until that happens, then yeah, I think we're struggling.
Yeah. It obviously is so hard at the moment, especially with trying to get allies on our side.
Yeah.
What's given you hope recently?
I think just seeing how much like a lot of people are fighting for the cause. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who've messaged me on socials, a lot of white people who've messaged me and said, Chiedu, like, we're riding for you, like, we're fighting for the cause. I've seen a lot of people on social media, like, sharing and sharing and sharing, and a lot of people voicing their opinions. Like, that's giving me hope. Like in Hull, like, especially, like, which is a white dominated city. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just bare white people here. Like, I am seeing, like, allies really fighting for the cause. Even the BLM protest in Queen's Gardens, the first one, that gave me hope. It was beautiful to see. Like, I'm there and I'm just seeing, like, people from all walks of life. And like I said, Hull is majority white. If we're going to be honest, the majority of people that was there was white.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was great. It was just fantastic to see, man. And I love it. That's the sort of stuff that gives me hope.
Yeah.
The stuff that gives me hope is just, like, the amount of, like, literature online that is being shared about, like, that is giving me hope. That's never happened before. Like, it's not just about George Floyd, RIP. Like, that was obviously the catalyst, but I think people now are realizing that this can't go on, and it won't go on. Obviously, I'm not condoning, like, a lot of like, obviously, like, the bad press that's been happening, man. Like, and they only show, like, the negatives, the violence and all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm not saying that, but no offense, no revolution has ever happened without some sort of ruckus, with some sort of noise, with some sort of violence. Like, and no offense, we learn the looting. That's all learned behavior. And you know, we learned that from Great Britain. We learned that from America, because that's what they did when they took over all the countries. They came in and they looted and destroyed and burnt and took things. Do you know what I mean? We learned that from you. So, like I say,
it works as well. Like, in France, they're always, like, looting and destroying stuff, and they actually have better rights in France and better pay, and equality is a lot further down the line. And
so, like, historically, like I say, who have we learned that from? We've learned that from you. So don't be upset and kicking off, like, deferring from the real issue, because I see it on my socials and I see it everywhere. Like, oh, the looting, and oh, like, animal cruelty, like with that when that police woman got hurt by the horse, and this that. But stop deferring from the issue. The issue is black people are getting killed in the streets. Black people have been oppressed for over 400 years. Black people's slave masters are idolized in the UK. Like, they're put on statues. Yeah. So don't be mad when we're like, nah, we're not having that no more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you know, like, we only stopped paying tax for slave masters and all that shebang in 2015, meaning that I've paid out of my taxes. I've paid for something I had no control of, and for my people who was enslaved, I've paid for all that. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So, yeah, that's for them people who were just talking rubbish, man. Do your research, do your history. Stop idolizing people who are evil. Do you know what I mean? Who believe in white supremacy. Stop idolizing these people. Like, they're not gods, man. They're evil. Like, so don't be complaining that black people have got their black fists in the air and not having it no more, man. We just want equality. Do you get it? Like, I always say, they're lucky that we're not coming for revenge.
Yeah, definitely.
We just want equality. Like, that's it. So that's just my message to anyone who have still got an ignorant mindset. Like, just go outside, man, and look around. Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are afraid of something that they don't need to be afraid of.
Yeah, it's not like black people are just going to get in power and white people are going to get sacked. Nah, we just want equality. We want equal numbers. Do you know what I mean? Not just musicians. They love us when we're entertaining. You get me? When we're acting and we're our comedians and our musicians, they love that. They love black culture then, but when they want us to be in the boardrooms and positions of power, they don't want it. Why? What are you scared of, man? So that's what I'm fighting for. That's the message that I'm trying to spread. And like I say, I've said it, if you're not with me and you're sitting on the fence, then that's not good enough, man, and you can't stand by me.
Yeah, complicity is just, like, silence is complicity. And if you're not speaking up, then you're a part of the problem. is there any like case, like a BLM case that struck with you personally, like really quite personally?
I didn't watch the George Floyd video. I couldn't watch it. In fact, I don't really watch the videos, Jemima. Like, I don't watch them because
you have to. You shouldn't. If it's going to affect your mental health and trigger you, then don't.
Yeah, man, I can't. I'm sick of it. Like, I'm just sick of like, because I think that's what was getting me down as well at the beginning. There was just too many videos and too many negative stories. Like, black people are kings, man. Like, we came from kingship, man. Like, we were kings. Do you know what I mean? Like, Jesus is black. I don't care. Like, they might paint him as a white man. He's not white in my eyes. He's a black guy. Like, we came from greatness. And all we're having, black people suddenly are just having to endure videos of pain. Do you know what I mean? Like, vicious videos of police brutality. Do you know what I mean? And people like Tommy Robinson and fools like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and social media being full of like hateful comments and stuff, man. This is a lot for our mental health. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much.
Have you heard of the black psychologist Frantz Fanon?
I'm not. I'm not.
Have a look into Frantz Fanon, because he wrote a lot about black psychology and how all this violence is going to impact a black person's mental health. It's really worth looking into. I think one of his books is called Black Skin, White Masks.
Okay.
And I think he may have been Algerian, I might not, but he wrote in French anyways.
Yeah.
But he wrote extensively on kind of psychology and black psychology, and it's worth looking into.
Yeah, man, like, I'd love to go see, like, I would love to get some sort of therapy.
Do it.
Like, for me, like, I'm quite, like, a lot of, like, I delivered, like, a lot of people were saying quite a strong speech at the BLM protest in Queen's Gardens, and I was quite emotional after it, to be honest with you. And that's because people know me as quite a strong character. My friends would say I'm a strong character. I don't really show emotion. I've got emotions like a stone, and that is true to a certain extent. But for me, like, all this has brought back some memories of, like, I grew up on a council estate in Hull, one of the roughest ones in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? And it was tough, definitely, as like the only black family on the estate. Do you know what I'm saying? And it just brings back memories and like little things, parents and old people and young kids and comments and stuff like that. It brings it all back. And like I say, I'm someone who I support the whole mental health movement, men talking about their feelings and stuff like that. But I never really thought it affected me until now, really, until this whole BLM stuff. And yeah, man, like, that's my advice to anyone of color. Like, just take some time and do some things that you enjoy. Try and like take your mind off it, man, and like get off socials, because it is a tough time. And like I say, I'm slowly getting back to normal now. I just want to get back doing music, man, doing what I love. So now lockdown's just becoming a little bit frustrating now, I can't lie. Like, it was good at first, but yeah, I just want to get back to what I love so I can take my mind off it and sort of like educate and inspire young black people through things that I love doing, which is music.
Yeah, there's this black writer called Audre Lorde, and she talks quite a lot about self-care, and she views like self-care and taking breaks from, like, for example, social media. It's not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. So if you take breaks from social media, if you need to just cut yourself free from all that, do it, because that's how you're going to keep going. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to fizzle out, and no one wants that. So definitely look after yourself, because what's going on in the news right now, especially for black people, it's so traumatizing. Like, no wonder people's mental health is suffering. Like, I'm pretty sure Black Minds Matter, they're offering free therapy for black people, black young people. So it might be worth looking into that. Or if you know any black young people who could benefit from that, tell them to look into it, because there's definitely resources out there to help people with their mental health at the moment, and it shouldn't be overlooked at all, should it? So
no.
Yeah,
definitely not.
So my next question is, obviously you're a musician, like music is a big part of your life. To you, what is the sound of the revolution? What musician or album gets you inspired?
Tough one, man. I suppose people like Bob Marley, man, like he was speaking about this stuff from back then. Do you know what I mean? Like, definitely people like Bob Marley. I'm a big like Nas fan, and like a lot of his music makes a lot more sense now. Definitely, like a lot, like he talks about a lot of politics and stuff like that. People like Akala, like his music, like again resonates of what's going on right now. So yeah, I would probably mention them three artists. They're the guys I'd say are the sound of the revolution.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Bob Marley recently as well. Like,
yeah,
songs like "Get Up, Stand Up." Like,
yeah,
they keep you going, really. So
yeah. And there's like there's a song actually called "Cry" by an artist called Swiss, and in my opinion, that's probably like the best UK rap song of all time. And he talks about a lot of issues. Talks about like Stephen Lawrence. Do you know what I mean? And just like things like, what does he say? He says, "Oh, the label us a coloured man, but our skin don't change colour." So it's just like, yeah, man. A lot of his things, man. Like a lot of the bars in that song really resonates, man. Like when I'm on my jog, I listen to that. Very powerful stuff. Check that out, definitely.
Yeah, I'll have a look into that.
Yeah.
So at the moment, obviously, with everything going on, how are you like looking after yourself? Do you have something that you do to keep yourself sane?
Yeah, I think
apart from music, obviously, but
apart from music, because I do write quite a bit, and obviously I'm able to go to the studio now. But I've exercised a lot during lockdown, like loads. Like I've took up running, and I've never been really a runner. I've always played football and stuff, but I've never actually just run. Like I never thought I would do that, and I've really got into that in this lockdown. So that's something that's I'd say has helped me.
Yeah. Would you recommend that to others?
Say that again.
Would you recommend that to others?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not a runner, like I'm not really into fitness," but I wasn't at all at the beginning of lockdown. But I knew I didn't want to put on weight. I wanted to keep in shape, and I knew the gyms was going to be shut. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this running thing a go. And you know what, I've loved it. I ain't looked back. I'm averaging like 3 runs a week, and then in between that, I'm doing exercise videos on YouTube. I'm getting stronger and stronger. Like, yeah, man, like that's probably the best thing that's happened in lockdown. I've probably just got the fittest I've ever been.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's a great positive to come out of it, isn't it? So
no, definitely, man. Like, yeah, definitely. I've really enjoyed the exercise. It's just good for the mind.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'll wrap it up there. So thank you so much for spending time with me and just chatting about this. So yeah, but definitely look out for your mental health. It's been great chatting to you. Take care.
Take care.